Testing, testing, testing. Testing, 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 testing. Good morning, everyone. It is amazing to see so many people that came out just for Sabbath School. I mean, it's just so encouraging. Berean is at a whole nother level this week. We're going to have a good time today. We have a lot of stuff to cover, and we're going to try to do it as quickly and as efficiently as possible. So here's how it works. If you're visiting here for the first time, everyone is welcome to participate. All you need to do is simply raise your hand. We'll bring someone with a mic over to you to get your concise and on the topic response. This week we're talking, I don't want to say it's coincidence, but on a graduation day we're talking about equipping and training, which I think is just a great lesson to have this week. We're going to spend time talking a lot today about potential, okay? We're going to talk a lot about potential, but before we get started, I want to make sure we're all on the same page. When you hear the word potential, what comes to your mind? Somebody tell me what comes to your mind when you hear the word potential. Raise your hand. I hear possibilities. Ability comes to mind when you hear the word potential. So potential means you have ability? What is it? Potential. When you hear the word potential. What is that? Stored? Is that what you're saying? So it's stored up abilities. So it's someplace, but it's just not in use. Okay, anyone else? Potential. Carmen says potential is what can be. That's a pretty good definition, don't you think? Potential is what can be, but by default, it means what it is not right now. Okay? So potential means it's not what's happening now, it's what could happen. Are we all on the same page? Now, this week, our memory text is taken from the book of Mark. We're going to all read together. How did I say we're going to read it? All right, Mark, we're going to read from Mark chapter 1. We're going to read a few more verses than the actual lesson had this week. We're going to read verses 18 through 22, and I have a few conundrums that I'm going to need some help with. We're in Mark chapter 1. Mark is in what part of the Bible? New Testament. Which book of the Bible is it?
Second.
In the New Testament, which one is it?
Second.
Okay. In the entire Bible, which one is it? You know, somebody here knows the answer to that too. I know it. It's amazing. Okay, we're reading in Mark chapter 1. We're going to read this how? So if you don't have a Bible, just scoot next to someone that has one. They'll be happy to share it with you. We're in Mark. We're going to start reading at verse 18 and all the way to verse 22. Here we go. And straightway... Oh, wait. There's too many. Wait. There's too many people here. I just hear Irvin, Bishop, and Carmen. I know there's more than that. Okay, let's try it again. 18 through 22. Here we go together. And straightway they forsook their nets and followed him. And when he had gone a little further thence, he saw James the son of Zebedee and John his brother,
who also were in the ship mending their nets. And straightway he called them. And they left their father Zebedee in the ship
with the hired servants
and went after him.
And straightway
on the Sabbath day he entered into the synagogue
and taught. And they were astonished at his doctrine, for he taught them as one that had authority and not as the scribes. All right, here's my first dilemma. Jesus is putting together his executive team. These are going to be the people that are going to shake up the world. I want to know why he didn't start with better educated people. You're going to have to raise your hand so we hear your answer. If I'm putting together an executive team, I want to see some letters after your name. Not prison numbers. I want to see some letters after your name. And then I'll be more confident that we're going to accomplish whatever we're trying to do. Why would Jesus choose people who didn't really have letters after their name? Here's a hand there, Matt Moody. There's a hand. Raise your hand there, and we'll see you. Here's a hand here. Brother Telesphore, yes, please.
Yeah, he wanted to start with a blank page, the raw material that he could curve into his own.
You don't really believe that.
Yes, that's what
So
he wanted.
you're saying to me that they were just blank?
In terms of their capabilities, yes, they had potential, but they didn't have that. Like he said, the scribes and Pharisees, they were filled with all kinds of knowledge. He couldn't touch them. But
Okay.
The fishermen, they were ignorant, so to speak. So they had capabilities to be filled and to receive what he was going to give them.
Oh, okay. So they were. Now you're using ignorant in the positive way. You don't mean they were like dumb. You're not saying that. Oh, okay. I saw a hand here. Yes, Sister Betty, and then we'll come over. Yes.
God didn't care about people's levels of socioeconomic or education then, and he still doesn't.
He doesn't.
He looks for willingness in us. He looks for childlikeness in us.
Okay.
To come to him as little children. So these letters behind our name and in front of our names don't matter. They still don't matter.
Okay, I like that. I'm going to swing over here and I'll come back on this side. Let's give it to me quick. Who do we have? Give it to me quick. Going once, twice.
The
quick.
gospel of Jesus Christ is simple. It is not complicated.
Okay. All right. Thanks for not answering that question. I appreciate it. I see your hand with the mic, and then I'm going to go way in the back. Yes, ma'am, please.
My understanding is Jesus said, if you follow me, I will make you fishers of men. And sometimes when we look at degrees, we think that the person is competent. We have to understand it is the Holy Spirit that makes us competent if we are willing.
All right. All the way in the back. Yes, ma'am, please.
Jesus was looking for people that were willing to learn more, to be taught, had a willing spirit, didn't think they knew everything already.
So he wanted people that were willing to be taught, who didn't think they knew everything already.
That's right.
I like that. Yes, ma'am, and then I'll come over right here. Yes, ma'am, please.
Jesus knew that they will follow him. People sometimes of other status, they have...
A little louder.
People sometimes that think they're more, other people that have a lot of status, think they know more than you. He can't teach them. So he know they will listen to his teaching. And they will follow him.
And let me just say this. Generally, I think if you are schooled, you do know more than me in some things. I don't dispute that. I don't want my doctor to be unschooled, okay? When it comes to that, I just want you to have a little education. Yes, all right, let's hear this lady here, and we'll try to swing over. We have a lot to go ahead, please.
God uses ordinary people.
Use ordinary people.
Not full of themselves and willing to be filled with the Spirit.
Okay, see, now y'all are just walking into a trap. I'm going to just let you know. I have set a trap for you. Let's see if we can get out of it. Yes, who do we have?
I think he used individuals who had not been tainted by the beliefs of the common day.
Absolutely. Now, here's the problem. With all that you said, there is probably no need for me to get more education. You have already proved to me that God uses ordinary people, he uses ignorant people, and this is all true. This is all true. He uses people that are willing. So why in the world should I say, well, I think I'm going to get another 4 years in? Because God can use me just like I am, right? All right, yes, ma'am. I see your hand there patiently. Then way in the back, I see you. Let's get while we're getting a mic right here to this lady here. Let me hear who do you have, Ron? Who do you have?
I just wanted to say that you said God uses ordinary people. God uses ordinary people. Yeah. But whether you get 2 years of education, 4 years of education, 99 years of education, you are ordinary, okay? You are the people. And so education does not separate you from being an ordinary person.
Okay, I like that. All right, yes, ma'am, please.
when I was reading, and other readings that I've read, I believe he chose them because sometimes the more educated we get, we feel we know more than God. And I think he chose people who he could teach from baby stage to do exactly his way. And so they wouldn't tweak or try to say, well, God, I think this way is better because I studied in school or I know more. So I think he took people who were more humble in spirit and would do exactly how he wanted it to do without adding their own interpretations or their own knowledge.
I like that. Now, if we fast forward, and I'll get the hands back there, if we fast forward, we know that people soon could tell that these individuals have been with Jesus just by how they talk, walk, live. When Peter was denying his Lord, they said, your speech betrays you. Just the way you speak, we know you've been with this man. All right, let me get this quickly, and then, yes, please. And we got to go quick.
Jesus says those that deny themselves and follow me.
Yes.
You can be educated or whatever you want to be and have all the letters you want, but he said if you deny yourself and follow me,
yes,
then you're eligible to be taught by me.
Okay, I agree with that. I'm going to try to get the hand over here, Brother Telesford. And okay. Please, ma'am, go right ahead.
Yes, all the answers have been good, but I think that Jesus was looking for people who were pure in heart.
Absolutely. Let me read something here. Matt, we have hands here, but I'm going to read something here that might get us out of this trap. It says, the uneducated man who is consecrated to God and who longs to bless others can be and is used by the Lord in his service. That's a definite. Uneducated, but consecrated, dedicated, God's going to use that. She goes on to say, my favorite author, but those who with the same spirit of consecration have had the benefit of a thorough education can do a much more extensive work for Christ. They stand on vantage ground. The Lord desires us to obtain all the education possible with the object in view of imparting our knowledge to others. That's deep to me. So I cannot rest satisfied, well, I'm just good enough. I don't really need to know. I know enough. I know the 2,300 days I've been in the Revelation seminar. I think I know that my grandmama's not in heaven. I can just pretty much stop there. My potential is so much more than that. Yes, let me hear right here, and then I got another problem for us, okay?
Christ chose people who were industrious. They may have been uneducated, but they weren't lazy.
Yes.
And they may have been uneducated as far as books, but they were very educated in what they did know, which was fishing, and they did their best at what they did know. So he chose people who were industrious and who were hard workers with what they had, and he used what they already had.
Oh, she brings up an excellent point. What if we looked at people the way Jesus looked at people and did not judge them by their level of education? Right? What if the common man could sit up front sometime? Jesus said, look, my ways are not your ways. I don't think like this. Okay, so we got another problem. I saw some hands, but let me just try to cover some ground. Give it to me quick, because I got to cover some ground here.
Yeah, I think we ought to recognize, though, that Jesus didn't choose all, quote-unquote, ignorant men. He had Judas. Judas was a economic professor. And he had...
You're not making the case well here, brother. Yeah.
No, Judas was good in finance. And he also had Matthew. Matthew was a publican. He had Paul. Paul was a man of great letters. So there was a mix of education and...
and I think we all would agree with you. He wants everybody, the uneducated, the educated. He's no respecter of persons. But Desire of Ages is interesting that Judas was the only one who kind of pressed himself into the inner circle. And the disciples like, man, he could bring a lot to this table. They just didn't know. We got to read something. I see your hand there, but I just want to read something. I need someone. We're going to Matthew. Oh, our time is running. Matthew chapter 14, And I'm going to need two readers. You're going to have to be able to read loud enough that we all can hear. I need a reader on this side. Raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you. Who'll be my reader over here? I need a reader over here. I need just one reader over here. Okay, great. So over here, I know I'll get one quicker. I need a reader on this side. Who'll be my reader over here? Just raise your hand. You have one? Who is it? Don't everybody raise their hand at the same time? You're confusing me. Okay, somebody just forced the mic on somebody, okay? All right. This lesson that we're talking about equipping, but I want us to look at lessons about success, how we learn from success, and how we learn from failure, okay? So we're all in Matthew chapter 14, and my first reader, I want you to read verse 25 through 29, okay? Matthew 14, 25 through 29. Okay, go right ahead.
And in the fourth
A little louder,
watch,
you got to give it to me.
Matthew chapter 14, verse 25.
Verse 25 to 29, yes.
And in the fourth watch of the night, Jesus went unto them walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, It is a spirit, and they cried out for fear. But straightway Jesus spake unto them, saying, Be of good cheer, it is I, but be not afraid. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto thee on the water. And he said, Come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on water to go to Jesus.
Okay, great. Stop right there. There are lessons for success in what we do in these verses. I need you to help me find them. Somebody raise your hand. What do you see as a lesson for success in just the verses we read? Don't fast forward, just the verses we read. There's a hand over here. All right, what are the lessons we can find here? Just give me one. Just give me one.
Faith and belief.
Okay, so the lesson for success is faith and belief. We got to flesh that out a little more. There's a hand right here. Yes, ma'am, raise your hand so they can see you. Okay, great. What are the lessons we can learn from here? Yes.
One lesson that you can learn is that when Jesus calls and say, come, you obey.
Okay, okay. Now remember, we're talking about potential. All right, somebody give me another lesson. There's got to be something else there. There's got to be something else. What are the lessons we see here? Okay, got to pray, yes?
Be assertive and take the initiative.
Be assertive and take the initiative. So there's value in boldness. Let's just say it that way. But I think there's a deeper lesson here. Is your hand raised, ma'am? Did I see your hand? Was that it? Okay. Yes, in the back there. Yes, Brother Sullivan. Yes, please.
One word I would say, humility, humble.
Okay. Let's stop a second. Peter said, I want to walk on water. Which of his relatives had done that before? Which of the church members that did that at camp meeting? Which one of those was he like saying, I want to do that too? It had never been done like this. But because he was bold enough to ask to do the impossible, he did the impossible. There's got to be a lesson there for me someplace. I hope you see it like I see it. I limit God in what I can do. There ain't no way in the world I'm going to ask him to have me walk on some water. I'm nervous because I don't have gas money. All I need is $20 for some gas, and I'm stressed out. Can you imagine what it must be like to have enough boldness to say, I want to walk on water, and get out and do it. There's a lesson here for somebody. I guarantee someone in this room, God is saying it's time for you to get out the boat, quit limiting me and limiting your potential, and start walking. I guarantee. Because if he ain't talking to you, he's talking to me. All right, yes, ma'am, let me hear it quickly, and then we'll keep going.
I'm going to be as quick as possible.
Yes.
Okay, when the Lord speaks to us, his ways are so much higher than ours. He always tells you to do something that seemingly that you cannot do.
Okay.
And then he'll answer a prayer that you didn't even ask him.
I got you.
Because I am supposed to be totally handicapped for about 10 years.
Okay.
I have an electric wheelchair in my garage that I have never used. I'm supposed to have 3 bulging discs in my back. But I've been walking and I've been praising the Lord.
Praise God. Praise
for
God.
10 years.
Praise
Thank
God
you very much. He will tell you to do things that is impossible for you to do, but with his help,
Okay.
you can accomplish it.
That is excellent. But just remember, Jesus did not tell Peter to do this. It wasn't his suggestion. This was something that was birthed within Peter. And by the way, ma'am, I'd like to sell your wheelchair on eBay if you're not going to use it anymore. You help the church out a little bit here. That'll be a complete test of your faith. All right, who's my second reader? Where's my second reader? Are you ready to read? You going to read loud for us? Okay, here we go. We're at, what verses are we at? We're going to see what lessons we can learn. Okay, verse 30 and 31. Okay, start reading, please.
But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid. And beginning to sink, he cried, saying, Lord, save me. And immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand and caught him, and said unto him, O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt?
Oh, my gracious. Now, we started by saying that Jesus was training his disciples. This is a part of the training process. What lessons do we learn from here? Now, before you say it, don't raise your hand and say, don't take your eyes off Christ. Don't say that. You got to give me a little bit more than that, okay? I know that's what everybody's going to say. What are the lessons learned from this? Give it to me quick, Brother Hobbs. Anybody, what are the lessons we learned from this?
You know,
You only got a second, Brother Hobbs.
You know, okay. Without faith, it is impossible to do anything. You got to believe. If you don't believe in yourself, you can't achieve anything for yourself. It is also written, without faith, it is impossible to please God.
Okay, well,
when Peter got out the boat, he had his eyes on God, Jesus. When he fell and the wind came, Jesus said, wherefore didst thou doubt?
Okay. So your point is you got to have faith.
Without faith, it is impossible to do anything.
All right, here's another hand here. Yes, ma'am. Right here. Brother Sullivan, maybe you can get to that person quicker. And then I see someone's hand over here. Okay. Yes, ma'am, please. What are the lessons we learned from there?
For those who think they stand, take heed lest they fall.
Okay.
This man believed that he really had faith in God, but the lesson that God is trying to teach us through this is complete trust in God, even when the wind is blowing.
Okay.
If you say you believe in God, and he say you can walk on water, then keep your eyes fixed and walk.
Okay, let me come to his defense. I'm going to be his defense attorney. He believed God enough to get out of the boat. And when he was about to sink, he believed Jesus enough to say, Lord, save me. But there's still a lesson there for us. Yes, please.
Well, what I got of it is don't be afraid to ask for what you feel is impossible.
Absolutely.
Don't be afraid to ask.
Absolutely.
And some of us are afraid and reluctant to ask God for those, what we see is impossible. But with God, it's not impossible.
Because he just might answer that prayer. Finally you're going to, okay, we've been waiting on you.
My comment is that even though God called him and equipped him,
Yes.
doesn't mean you're not going to fail at some point
that's
in your
excellent.
experience. And it doesn't mean that he had the courage to cry out in his distress.
Yes.
Even though God called him and he fell, he called out and cried out, and God saved him. Even though God called him, equipped him, he failed, but he cried out to God.
Powerful, powerful lesson. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, please.
It absolutely amazes me that I often say, well, if I was back then in Jesus' day and I saw those miracles and everything that he was doing, I would be so much on his bandwagon. I would have been the best one there. And to know that Peter saw everything, was walking on the water, and Jesus was right in front of him, and he still started saying, okay, maybe not. That tells me that even in my own life, I'm going to go ahead and have Jesus, and I can see him right in front of me.
Yes,
but
yes,
sometimes I'm going to start falling because of my own self, my own choices, my own decisions.
Yes.
And all I have to do is say, okay, Lord, help.
Oh, I like that. I got to get this kind lady's been waiting down here so long. But while we're waiting, Brother Solomon, give me that one quick. Right down here.
Don't be afraid to get lost.
Don't be
But
afraid to
Don't be
get lost.
afraid to fail, because that is when you go back and you study and you learn more.
Okay. Let me, please, and then I want to share something as we try to race against time.
Good
Quick.
morning. When I accepted this Advent message first, I was only 17 years of age. Parents died, I stopped from school 11 years of age. But thank God, what they did to me, they sent me to do called porter work. And there was what I learned to read and write and things. So you don't pass, you know, if you want to do it by God's grace, you can.
Okay.
Okay?
I got you. Let me share something right quick because we're running out of time. That I got to share one of these lessons that I have. You allow me to do that? Distractions are disastrous. Peter was the same person when he was walking on water as when he was sinking. The distraction took everything off course. Distractions are disastrous. I could be going along so well and the distraction just comes and there I go. God called me to do something else. Somebody says, listen, I hear you can make some money, come this way. I'm gone. I know I should be waiting on a godly spouse, somebody with big muscles, say, listen, I'll come to church with you. I'm gone. I got to do the reverse, right? Let's see, I did the God waiting on a man. So, a man, I want a godly wife, and she says, it'll be okay, and I'm gone. I say I want to help people. I really want to help people. I have limited money. God has really been impressing me. I come to church. I really feel I should be doing more for people. And as soon as I get home, they run that same commercial. I've been looking at that for all this time. And it's on sale. I'm going off the track. Okay, we got to race some more time. I got one more lesson for us to learn. I'm going to skip one about Joseph. There's so many lessons about Joseph, but we would be here all day about the lessons of Joseph, who was betrayed by his family, sold into slavery, put in jail. It's already bad enough. Then he was put in jail for a lie, and the one person who had the way to get him out forgot all about him. You all know that story, don't you? There's so many lessons there that I must continue to do the right thing even when the outcome does not seem to pay off. Oh, that's a powerful lesson. But here's the one I want to close on. It's one of my favorite. I think I need another reader. We're going to Luke chapter 18. Luke chapter 18. We're going to talk about potential. We're going to close on this. I will need two readers. One on this side. Here's my reader already. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll need a reader on this side. Who do I have this time? Way in the back there. Brother Moody, raise your hand. Is that Denise? Okay. Not too fast, Denise. Y'all, that's an inside joke. Y'all don't know Denise. Okay. We're in Luke chapter 18, And we're going to see what kind of lessons we can find on potential. My first reader, if you could read verses 18 to 21 for me, all right? We're in Luke 18. She's going to read verses 18 through 21. Go right ahead.
And a certain ruler asked him, saying, Good master, what shall I do to inherit eternal life? And Jesus said unto him, Why callest thou me good? None is good, save one, that is God. Thou knowest the commandments. Do not commit adultery, do not kill, do not steal, do not bear false witness, honor thy father and thy mother. And he said, All these have I kept from my youth up.
Okay. I want to read one more verse. Okay. So we're in chapter 19. I think I said 18, but I don't know. You did it right. Okay. My second reader, if you could read verses 22 through, no, let's back up some. Verse 21 and 22. Where's my second reader?
Of Luke 19?
Yes, Luke 19, 21 through 22.
For I fear thee, because thou art an austere man.
I'm sorry. I know what's wrong. Y'all will not believe this. I'm fine now because I was in Matthew and okay, all right, go right ahead.
Luke 19.
Luke chapter 18.
Luke chapter 18.
My mistake. I was in Matthew 19. Luke chapter 18.
Verses 21 and 22?
Yes.
And he said, All these have I kept from my youth up. Now when Jesus heard these things, he said unto him, Ye lackest thou one thing. Sell all that thou hast, and distribute unto the poor, and thou shalt have treasure in heaven, and come, follow me.
Read verse 23 for me, Denise, also.
And when he heard this, he was very sorrowful, for he was very rich.
Another common story. We read it 1,000 times. I want to see if we can grab some lessons here about reaching your potential from this story. What do you think could be some lessons about reaching your potential from this story? Anybody want to hazard a guess? It's not right on the surface. Yes, there's a hands over here. About reaching your potential.
It's all about principle. The first principle is a purpose. And with every purpose, you always have perseverance. And then with perseverance, you have to have patience, then power, then a passion.
Okay. All right.
So potential is actually the core factor of those elements.
Okay.
Principle, purpose, passion, potential, power, perseverance, and peace.
All right, great. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yes, and right behind you, there's one more. You have a mic,
yes,
please?
Yes, sir. I have a mic. And I would say if he had obeyed the Lord Jesus Christ, the highest potential you can reach is heaven.
Okay.
Because you're never rich enough to be too rich for Jesus. So he said, give all you have to the poor. And had he done this, he would have been saved. And then, of course, that would have been the highest potential that you can reach.
I want to know what are the lessons I can use from this story about potential. And I know already by just automatic, I don't even have to think that I should be willing to serve God. I should be willing to listen. Yes, right there. Yes. Raise your hand so they can see you. I got 2 minutes to finish this.
Some things we have to be willing to let go in order to grab hold on something much more better.
Oh, I like that.
And if I can add, self-denial would be another.
Okay, self-denial. Yes, over on the other side. I want to hear that first on that other side. Oh, who do you have? Yes. Oh, Melody? Okay, yes.
For me, it's fear. Don't let fear
keep you from reaching your potential, because it will. Fear
Yes.
will paralyze you and think that you just can't do anything.
Yes, yes. All right, way in the back there. Matt, if you can go way back there, then I'll hear this comment there. Yes, please.
Money is important.
A little louder for me.
Money is important. It's essential for what we need in everyday life, but it's not the end. It's not your salvation. It shouldn't be.
Okay, I like that. Okay.
Souls are important. Heaven is more important than that. So we have to put our priorities in the right place.
All right. Yes, sir, please.
He did everything he was supposed to do, but one of the things that I've learned in my life, the most dangerous thing for a Christian to have is self-reliance and not knowing to trust God.
Okay. I like that. Brother Bishop, Roy, raise your hand so I'll see you. Right here. Right there.
The lesson for me was that your motives are more important than the process you go through.
Okay. Let me try to unpack it this way. Many times I have discovered there is a cost to reaching your potential. I want it to be a painless procedure. I just want to get there. I really don't want to, I don't want it to be too hard. I just want to get there. Jesus was saying, for you to reach your potential, you're going to have to do something that is beyond what you can see right now. It absolutely does not make sense what I'm about to ask you to do. But I know for you to reach your potential, you're going to have to do this. It wasn't about the money. He said, oh, I got a cattle on 1,000 hills. You know, he can go down to a fish and say, look, there's money in his mouth. That wasn't the issue. For us, our issue is that we can't see around the corner. I just can't see around the corner. If I could see around the corner, I'd be a little bit more willing to do this thing. If the Bible said that we had time to read that Jesus looked on this young man with love. Desire of Ages actually says that he saw in this man someone that could greatly help advance his kingdom. We probably would be reading one of his books in the Bible if he had made that decision. Like we're reading Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. It might have been Saul, Samuel, whatever. No, that's a Bible name already. As we close, I know because I talk to enough of you and I talk to myself enough in the mirror to know that some of us can't worry about seeing around the corner. We just gonna have to do it. If God is prompting you, we just gotta do it. Now, hopefully somebody will hold our hand through the process. Hopefully somebody can pray with you through the process. But the process still has to happen sooner or later. Right? It's got to happen sooner or later. So let's just get it out the way. We have to have an abbreviated Sabbath School session today. Jesus had a talk with his disciples on a mountain. You heard of the Sermon on the Mount. And he said things like, turn the other cheek. You can't move ahead by turning the other cheek in this society. He said, if someone asks you to go 1 mile, how many are you supposed to go? But you need to get paid if you're going 2 miles. You're asking me to do more than I signed up for. He was unlocking what it takes for us to reach our potential. I need to hear that this morning. I need to hear that in my soul. How many want to join me in hearing that this morning? Listen, I want to thank you for your participation. I'm sorry